guys, episode 3. I'm gonna get straight to the point because I want to try and make my videos really snappy. Today I want to review something that is close to me. I have full experience of it, and I just wanted to raise awareness on it. It's remote learning. Okay, so I have my teacher hat on with remote learning. I don't have primary aged or secondary age students where I'm homeschooling them or, accessing that kind of experience. I just have my hat on as a teacher, right? As a head of department, as someone working in a secondary school. But this week and previous weeks, having spoken to friends, having got some feedback from some of my students, I just realised everybody's got a different experience of it, and no matter the different experiences that I've heard, I don't think remote learning is great, for anybody. It serves a purpose. I understand why we have to do it, but there's a lot of considerations that are not considered. So let me talk about it in order. So the first thing is value for money. Obviously, it's free. We are very fortunate that education is free for us, okay? So it is good value for money in that you're not having to pay for anything in theory. But when you think about the devices, having one device, whether it's a tablet, a laptop, a phone, thinking about the Wi-Fi and the costs that's involved, and this whole all these schemes, doing an advert saying, we'll make sure that you can access Wi-Fi. Really, is it just a marketing, or are you genuine about it? Or schools that are supposed to be lending laptops and Chromebooks, are they really doing it? So I'm not really sure on the money front, but generally I do feel like we are getting good value for money because we're still trying to provide a service. I say we as teachers, a service is still being provided. It may not be a 5-star service. It may be not the service that we're used to, but the fact that there's still an attempt there, that's admirable. The hype. When it first started, I thought there'd be a hype. I thought you would think of it about it's a party that everybody wants to get into. I always get FOMO for most things, but the idea that you get an invitation to, come to the meet. We use Google Meets in my school, or if it's Zoom, you get your pin. It's like we're part of a club. There's that sense of exclusivity. I wanted to make sure I say it correctly. But where I find the real hype are the students. And I don't mean in that you're excited to have remote lessons, but mad moves, the innovation. I'm sure you guys would have seen things on Twitter, what have you, that's gone viral about the student that changed it so his icon or his handle was reconnecting. So the teacher just always thought he was reconnecting. A student told me the other day, he showed a video, his icon was a video, and he said that in one of his lessons the teacher didn't even notice he had changed it. Or the ghosting that takes place. And for those of you who don't know what I mean by that, is the students that they come in, they log in theory you see their names, what have you, but then you answer them a question, silence, nothing, because they're not there. They've gone back to bed, they've left the room, what have you. I had an instance where someone was trying to ghost me and then came back in and was like, the answer's free. And the answer wasn't free because I didn't ask for the answer. All the students had written 3 or 2 or what have you, and they were telling me what question they were going to do. But this student really tried to fake it, innit? Fake it till you make it. And that's commendable. We've got people doing trial exams at home, mock exams if you like. And, we want to make sure that they're doing it correctly. They're not cheating, they're not getting help. But you can pin someone else's screen, can't you? I don't know about other platforms, but on Google Meets you can. So there were some students that pinned another student's thing so you could see what he was writing. And therefore you copy and you cheat. I would never think about things like that. So there's a hype in that. There's tricks of the trade that people are learning and thinking of. And I think it's creative. It's critical thinking. And I like that. So students, wherever you are, well done, because you're that step ahead, innit? And that's what our generation needs, or your generation, if you like. The next thing is about spotting the difference. And there's a big difference, people. There are schools that are doing live lessons. So we're teaching on our timetable as per normal. We're going through it. Go hard or go home. There are some schools where they're just putting up work. They're setting work. They're putting a video up. You do that. You don't do it. There are some schools where they're doing a mixture of both. There's just lots of different ways. So every school is doing it differently. And I feel like even in primary to secondary, jeez, I've got a friend who told me that, they had a project to make gingerbread men. Then they had to show and tell the gingerbread men, excuse me, what if I don't have the pennies, the monies to go and buy the ingredients? Also, are you therefore encouraging me to leave my house, go to the supermarket just to get ingredients so that my son could do show and tell of gingerbread men? And lastly, it's not December anymore, all right? You only really see gingerbread men back then. Stop living in the past. But no, my point is that there is a big difference. Remote learning looks different according to your age, according to your school, your borough, your district. It looks different for a teacher that's setting lessons. It's different for a TA, a teaching assistant, that has to support students that need that extra additional help. It looks different from subject to subject. And I'm not going to lie, I have a friend who's an English teacher, but how can you make an English lesson engaging? Obviously, it's done, but I know in maths, even as a teacher, I feel like sometimes it's dead. Like, how can I spice this up? And that's another thing of going back to experiences. Like, students will tell you, oh, it's boring. Oh, how's your week been? It's boring. Lessons, boring. Dead, boring. When you don't have your camera on, when you're not talking back to the teacher, what do you expect? Like, seriously. And again, if I think about the parents that I've spoken to, if they, you trying to manage your work. What if you're a business owner trying to manage your work? You're trying to make sure your child learns. Your child's getting emotional maybe because, the key worker children and the vulnerable children are still in school. And then you're asking the question, why, mummy, can't I go to school? Like, there's all of that. Everybody is fighting their own challenges. So I think people have said it before, if you can't do anything in this pandemic, just be kind. And I say that to myself, I've got feedback from my students saying, Miss, you're setting too much work. I need to be kind. I need to be kind with myself. I need to be kind with my students. I need to be kind with other teachers. We need to be kind with parents. Schools, you need to be kind with the teachers in all the expectations. We all need to be kind with each other. Students, you definitely need to be kind to your teachers. But it's not one size fits all. It's not all for one. It's not even one for all. It's different. It's a different experience for different people. And I think we all need to recognize that and just take a moment and just realize that you're running your own race. And no matter the expectation put on you, you determine the outcome. It's your child. It's your child's education. It's your environment. You just need to do what's right for you. That's all I'm going to say. If I think of my immediate circle of people, I think about my sister who's got twins. Can you imagine trying to make sure twins are looking at a device for a certain amount of time, completing the work, even though one might not understand and one understands it? I can't even imagine that. My friend who's a business owner, she works from home anyway. You're now asking her to try and work from home as well as make sure that her son keeps up on the work. She has to engage with the remote learning. It's not him typing. It's not him unmuting and muting. Think about it. Not everybody can do what you expect them to do. You've got to think of the different circumstances. Those people who are on maternity leave now, they can't even go anywhere if they wanted to go. I enjoyed my maternity leave, but some people don't have that now. What do you call it? Soft plays are closed. Parks, you might catch something. What? What is this life? And then you've got the teachers that want to complain about, no, not the teachers, sorry, the parents that want to complain about the teachers and the teaching going on because you're there being nosy and listening in. I beg, come out of the room. Is the lesson for you or is the lesson for the students, your son or your daughter? But it's just all, different wars, different fights going on. So just be kind, I guess is what I'm going to say. So whether you're a student, teacher, parent, the government, who, might I add, I don't know if you know what you're doing. I think it's a 2-star situation. Doesn't matter what category you fall into. I don't think anyone's enjoying it. I don't feel like anyone's in love with it. I feel like it might very well be a ticking box exercise. All this scientific research right now is going into the pandemic, of course, but let's think about how people learn and the best times of the day to learn and, the environment that facilitates and optimizes good learning. Let's think about that. So, yeah, it could be you perceive this as a bit of a rant, but like I said from the beginning, I just want to raise awareness that learning from home learning, remote learning, Zoom, Google Meets, Teams, whatever the platform, however the medium that we are passing this education, it's hard. It's hard for the parents, it's hard for the teachers, it's hard for the students, it's hard for everybody. It's a hard knock life. But as usual, is that a me view or is that a we view? Happy Friday, everybody.